overhead electric power lines.
The only way to get there was to climb and jump over the high wall. Despite carrying heavy bag, I had to push myself to the limit. The thorns of the bushes tore up my hands and burned my fingers many times. I set up my tent and cooked my food. I needed to check outside to see what was roaming around my tent, and I explored the place at 3 a.m., not knowing that I was not alone there. I started my adventure at 6 p.m., just the evening light was beginning to fade. In front of me stood the high wall of the canal, tall and challenging, separating me from my destination and the other side. My goal was clear: to climb up and make my way across, no matter how difficult it looked. The only way to get there was by using the stairs attached to the wall at the far end. Reaching them would not be easy, but I was determined to keep going and see what waited beyond the wall.
Bale, sa kabila tayo pupunta. Sa kabilang bakod.
This had been my plan for a long time, to explore what was hidden inside this wall and spend the night camping there, but the warning words around the area made me hesitate and told me not to continue. Even so, my curiosity was stronger, and I kept searching for a way in while looking carefully to see where the overhead electric wires were. I waited for the perfect moment because many people were passing by and I didn't want anyone to notice what I was about to do. The other side was much higher than I expected, which made me hesitate for a moment. I stood there looking down and measuring the distance, knowing that one wrong move could end badly. For a few seconds, doubt filled my mind, but I knew I had already come too far to turn back. Then I decided it was time. I dropped my backpack first to make the jump easier and safer. After a few seconds, I prepared myself, took a deep breath, and got ready to go next make the jump. At that moment, I started to feel that the place wasn't as good as I expected because there was a lot of trash everywhere. I felt sad and wondered why so many people would do this. The United Kingdom is a beautiful place, but some people don't seem to care about keeping it clean or respecting the environment. The first part of the path was filled with bushes covered in thorns, making it a real challenge for me to get through. I had to carefully push forward and overcome them despite the pain and difficulty they caused. Then I stopped for a few seconds to see if there were any people inside, and to check whether anyone in the nearby buildings might be looking at me. There were several mid-rise buildings not far from my location, and I realized that people there could easily see me.
Daanan ng maintenance.
Inside the fence, there was a rough road used for accessing the area for train maintenance. Then I decided to continue my search for a place to sleep that night. I carefully crossed the rough maintenance road, trying not to stay there too long because I wasn't sure if any workers were around. At the end of the road, I saw an old tunnel with openings on both sides that made me uneasy, so I chose not to go further and instead turned back toward the woods, where I felt it would be safer to continue. This time, it feels right. I will turn this part into ASMR because it sounds really good to the ears. Then, I saw an old large tree in the distance. At that moment, I felt that this might be the right place to sleep for the night.
This is the best location for my still camping today. Because you know what? You know these trees?
And that tree will help me with my escape tomorrow. If you remember from earlier in my video, this is the same tree I showed before. After resting for a few minutes, I started to clean the area and make space for my tent. I cleared away small pieces of trash and uneven ground so I could set everything up properly. Once the spot was ready, I began pitching my tent carefully, making sure it was stable and secure for the night ahead. I started cooking my food because I was really hungry at that moment. After setting up my tent, I took out my supplies and prepared a simple meal. I burned my hand many times while cooking, which made it more difficult to focus. My food for the night was a hamburger because it's easy to cook and doesn't require much preparation.
Crazy, bro.
Then, after I ate my food, I suddenly remembered that I had forgotten the cheese that Hallie, my wife, gave me at home. Then, I had to prepare myself for sleep.
This is my second time doing this. I was inspired by this guy, Steve, and this girl. I wanted to do this for a long time, but I feel like now is the right time, especially since the nights in the UK are shorter compared to 4 months ago. Time check, it's 10:24 now. It's a bit more challenging this time because I have to climb over a fence before I can reach my spot. This is a public property, by the way. I'm here between the canal and the train line going to Grand Central. It was past 9. I think when I finished setting everything up.
I needed to investigate outside because I could hear something scratching against my tent. It sounded like it could be an animal or maybe something else. I wasn't sure. I had no idea what it was, but the noise kept happening, so I became alert and prepared to check what was out there.
Time check. It's 10:33 now. I'm going to say goodnight because I need to wake up at 3 a.m. I want to explore the place, and that's my challenge for tonight. Okay, good night. See you at 3 a.m.
I woke up at 3 a.m. to continue my goal of exploring the place. I set an alarm on my phone, then get ready and left the tent. I always say this honestly. I have always been afraid of the dark since I was a kid, but at that moment, I did not feel scared. I was not afraid of ghosts or anything supernatural. What I feared most was that a real bad person might come to me and do something harmful. As I continued exploring the woods in the darkness, every step felt heavier than the last. The night was so quiet that the only sound I could hear was my own movement, my boots pressing the dry leaves and snapping small branches beneath my feet. Its crack echoed through the trees, making it seem louder than it really was. The air felt cold and still, and the deeper I went, the more the shadows around me seemed to grow. The trees stood tall like silent figures watching from every side. I moved carefully, trying not to make too much noise. But no matter how slow I walked, the ground betrayed me with every step. Leaves rustled, twigs broke, and the sound followed me through the darkness. My heart beat faster whenever I stopped to listen. Sometimes the silence was even more unsettling than the noise. I would stand there for a moment, holding my breath, trying to hear if something else was moving nearby. But there was nothing, only the distant whisper of the wind and the pounding of my own heart. Even though fear crept into my mind, I kept going. There was something thrilling about walking alone through the dark woods, knowing that every step took me deeper into the unknown. In that moment, it felt like the forest had swallowed the world behind me, leaving only me, the shadows, and the sound of my footsteps in the night. When I saw this orange cone, I immediately thought that I must be close to the maintenance road. That was when I knew I was near the area I had passed earlier. I picked it up, then brought it with me as I made my way back to my camp. When I saw my camp again, I felt relieved and happy, knowing I had made it back safely. I returned to my tent and continued to sleep.
Morning. I had terrible night's sleep since it's Saturday. The canal was very busy, even from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. I think it's going to be a cloudy day today. It's 5 a.m. now, which is why I need to pack because it's Saturday. There's a lot of joggers along the canal, and I don't feel comfortable. being there right now. Okay, go. See.
If you reach this moment and enjoy watching, please consider liking and subscribing. When I saw this fox looking at me, I knew that I was not alone that night. I could feel it walking around nearby, staying close as it watched me. Maybe it smelled my food, or perhaps it was searching for something to eat.
It's time to go home now. Let's go.
At that moment, it looked like it would be easy for me to climb the tree and jump to the other side, but in reality, it was not. As I struggled a lot during that moment, I had to be careful with every move. I also waited for the right time when no one people were passing by. To make it even harder, the top of the fence had broken glass placed there when it was built. This adventure taught me that courage means moving forward even when you feel fear. I learned to respect nature, stay prepared, and appreciate the simple things like food, shelter, and safety. Most of all, I realized that every challenge can become a lesson.